Husband's best friend moved in for 2 weeks after breakup, then refused to leave and tried to replace me in my own marriage. I never thought I'd be writing something like this. I, 30F, have been married to my husband, Tyler, 32M, for 4 years. We've had a pretty peaceful relationship overall. We both work full-time, we don't have kids yet, and we live in a 3-bedroom house that we bought together 2 years ago. Life was steady until his best friend, Erica, came to stay with us. Tyler and Erica have been close since high school. They were never romantically involved, allegedly, and I've never seen anything to suggest they were. When I met Erica for the first time, I'll admit I was a little thrown off. She's tall, stunning, loud, and very comfortable with my husband. But I trusted Tyler, so I brushed it off. About 3 months ago, Erica broke up with her long-term boyfriend. It was messy. She called Tyler crying, and he brought her over to talk things out. I was polite. She stayed for dinner. Then the ask came. She's really not in a good place, Tyler told me that night. Can she crash with us for, 2 weeks? Just until she finds a new place. I hesitated. I wasn't thrilled with the idea, but I didn't want to be the villain who said no to a heartbroken woman. So I agreed. 2 weeks, I said. Max. Erica moved in the next day with 3 large suitcases, several tote bags, and her makeup collection that took over the guest bathroom in minutes. I assumed she'd spend the next few days hunting for an apartment. Instead, she spent most of her time on the couch watching Netflix and scrolling Instagram. By week 3, Erica hadn't even mentioned looking for a place. She'd made herself extremely comfortable. She left her dishes in the sink, used my expensive shampoo without asking, and always somehow managed to be in the kitchen exactly when I was trying to cook. At first, I dropped polite hints. Hey, any luck with apartment hunting? Or, are you still planning to move out this month? Every time, she dodged the question with a dramatic sigh about how hard it was, or a joke like, I'm honestly loving this free hotel. Can I stay forever? Tyler was no help. She's still fragile, he'd say. Let's give her a little more time. He'd known her forever. I'd known her for 4 years, and I already wanted her out. Money became an issue too. Our grocery bill skyrocketed. Erica ate like a teenage boy. She drank the last of my oat milk, opened bottles of wine I was saving, and used every fancy bath bomb I had. She never offered to replace anything or help pay for utilities. One time I left a receipt on the counter, nothing. Not even a let me chip in. She also began treating the house like her own. She rearranged my coffee table for better flow. She invited her friends over to hang out in our living room while I was trying to work from home. She even started doing laundry in the middle of the night. Once I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of her dryer running. I finally snapped when I came home from work one day and found Erica lounging on my side of the bed, wearing one of my robes, eating popcorn, and watching a movie on her bedroom TV. I confronted Tyler that night. This was supposed to be 2 weeks, I said, trying to stay calm. It's been 6. She's not paying rent. She's not even trying to leave. And now she's acting like she lives here. Tyler looked uncomfortable. I know, he said, but what do you want me to do? She's going through a hard time. Kicking her out now would just make me feel like a terrible friend. She's not your responsibility, I said. We are. This marriage. This house. I don't even feel like I live here anymore. That didn't go over well. Tyler got defensive, accused me of being jealous of their friendship. That one stung. I told him this had nothing to do with jealousy and everything to do with boundaries. He shut down the conversation and went to bed. Things got worse from there. The next morning, Erica started avoiding me. Or maybe she was trying to annoy me. She was always around, always inserting herself into conversations I was having with Tyler, always touching him on the arm when she laughed. It started to feel deliberate. One night, I overheard her talking to one of her friends on the phone. She said, it's honestly not that bad. Tyler doesn't mind me being here, and I don't think his wife has the guts to say anything. That was it for me. The next day, while Tyler was at work, I sat Erica down. I think it's time for you to start making arrangements to move out, I said. It's been over 2 months, and this isn't working anymore. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Wow, she said. So you're just kicking me out? I'm asking you to respect the agreement you made when you moved in, I replied. This was never supposed to be long-term. She went off. She called me cold, ungrateful, even suggested I was insecure. I stayed calm, repeated that she had 1 more week, and that Tyler and I had already discussed this, a small lie. I knew he'd drag his feet otherwise. When Tyler got home and Erica immediately told him what I said, he exploded. You went behind my back? You made that decision without me. I tried to talk to you, I said. You didn't listen, so I handled it. I'm done tiptoeing around this. She's leaving. We didn't speak for the rest of the night. The silence between us was worse than the argument. But something changed the next morning. Tyler apologized. He said he'd been trying to keep everyone happy and realized he'd only made things worse. He agreed Erica had overstayed her welcome and that our home needed to go back to being ours. We gave her a final move-out deadline, 1 week. Erica didn't take it well. She spent the next few days sulking, making passive-aggressive comments, and accidentally leaving her stuff in the dryer for hours. But she left. She packed up her things, gave Tyler a tearful goodbye hug, and barely acknowledged me on her way out the door. The house felt different afterward. Quieter, lighter. Tyler and I had a long, painful conversation about boundaries, about loyalty, about how sometimes being a good friend can turn into being a bad husband. He admitted he should have set firmer limits from the beginning. I admitted I should have spoken up more directly earlier, instead of hoping things would fix themselves. We both promised to never let someone else come between us like that again. Now, 3 weeks later, our house finally feels like home again. We're back to eating dinner alone on the couch, watching dumb shows, arguing about which takeout to get. And honestly, I've never appreciated normalcy more. Update 1. I didn't expect this story to need an update, but here we are. It's been about a month since Erica moved out of our house after overstaying what was supposed to be a 2-week stay. I thought things would return to normal after she left. I truly did. And for a brief moment, they did. But I was wrong. Things aren't normal. In fact, things are messier than ever. I've learned that when someone like Erica leaves your house, they don't just walk out the door and disappear. Sometimes they leave behind a trail of chaos, one that somehow keeps spreading even when they're no longer around. For the first 2 weeks after Erica moved out, Tyler and I were trying to heal. We were reconnecting, doing normal couple things again. We cleaned out the guest room. We had a mini staycation weekend where we didn't leave the couch. He made me breakfast 2 days in a row, burnt toast and watery eggs, but still, I thought we were getting back to us. Tyler even admitted one night that he felt like he'd been in a fog during the whole Erica situation. Like he knew it was out of control, but kept telling himself it would resolve on its own. I appreciated his honesty. He said he was committed to rebuilding trust and restoring balance in our relationship. For a moment, I let myself believe that was it. The chapter was closed. The awkwardness, the boundaries, the tension, all resolved. Then Erica started talking. The first sign that something was off came from a mutual friend, one of Tyler's longtime buddies, Mark, who I'd always gotten along with. He texted me out of nowhere. "Hey, just want to say I'm sorry things got so weird. I didn't realize you were going through that much." Confused, I asked him what he meant. After a few awkward messages, he told me that Erica had been really open in the friend group chat lately, that she told everyone I had thrown her out in the middle of a mental health crisis, that I'd given her an ultimatum and left her homeless with nowhere to go. I was stunned. According to Erica, I was the villain. She was the poor, struggling woman who had been taken in by her best friend and then heartlessly discarded by his jealous wife. She was painting herself as some kind of tragic figure, and people were buying it. Tyler wasn't in that particular chat group, but once I showed him the screenshots that Mark sent me, he was furious. "She's making me look like I let my wife abuse my best friend," he said. "This is insane." We agreed to sit on it for a bit and not respond emotionally. I didn't want to make things worse. I hoped it would die down on its own. It didn't. A few days later, my mom called me. She sounded worried. "Honey, is everything all right? I saw that post Erica made, and people are saying some really nasty things." "What post?" I asked, already feeling the heat rise in my chest. She sent me a screenshot. Erica had made a long, dramatic Facebook post, full of vague wording, but clearly about us. It's always the ones you trust the most who hurt you the worst. Imagine opening your heart, only to be cast aside like garbage when you're no longer convenient. I've learned the hard way that some people pretend to be kind, but are really just cold-hearted underneath the surface. Healing is hard, but I'm stronger now. Hundreds of likes, dozens of supportive comments. People saying things like, "You don't deserve this, you're so strong, cut out the toxic ones." She never mentioned our names, but it didn't matter. Anyone who knew us knew exactly who she meant. One commenter even wrote, "Wait, is this about Tyler and his wife kicking you out?" To which Erica replied with a sad face emoji and, "I can't say, but you're not wrong." I was fuming. My hands were literally shaking. Tyler was even more livid. He wanted to call her right away and confront her, but I stopped him. Instead, I took a breath, sat down, and started writing. I made my own post, polite, direct, and factual. I didn't name her either. I just said I was disappointed to learn that someone I had hosted in my home rent-free for over 2 months, someone who took advantage of my kindness and boundaries, was now turning mutual friends against me with half-truths and dramatized nonsense. I made sure to include that she stayed far beyond the time she said she would, that she contributed nothing to food, utilities, or cleaning, that she was asked, kindly, to leave with plenty of time to make arrangements, that she violated boundaries and behaved like a tenant without paying rent. I ended the post with a reminder that being generous doesn't mean being a doormat, and that setting boundaries is not cruelty. Most of my friends supported me. A few even DM'd to say they always thought Erica was a bit much. But others, including some from Tyler's old high school crew, unfriended me. One even messaged Tyler to say I was manipulating him and isolating him from the people who actually care. That one hit hard. The tension crept back into our house like a fog. Tyler wasn't mad at me. Far from it. But I could tell the social pressure was wearing him down. He'd grown up with these people. Erica had been part of his life for over a decade. Now, half of them were turning on him because of me. He started questioning if maybe we should have handled it differently. Maybe we should have just let it go, not made a post, not pushed back. I knew that wasn't fair. We didn't start this. But I could see the toll it was taking on him. We had a hard conversation one night about boundaries again. He asked me, "Do you think I was wrong to stay so close to her all these years?" And honestly, I said yes. Not because I think men and women can't be friends, but because their friendship never matured. It was stuck in a teenage dynamic, with no room for the realities of adult partnership. And once we got married, she never adjusted. She expected the same level of access to him. And when she didn't get it, she resented me. I told him I wasn't asking him to cut off all his friends, but I was asking him to recognize who's rooting for our marriage and who's subtly working against it. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Okay, I hear you. I'm with you. We're still dealing with fallout. Some of the social circles Tyler used to rely on are gone. The group chats have gone quiet. The invitations have slowed, but our home feels peaceful again. We've gone to 2 therapy sessions together, mostly to talk about boundaries, people-pleasing, and how to deal with mutual friends when one of them starts poisoning the well. It's been really helpful." Tyler has officially stopped responding to Erica. He's blocked her on everything. She tried texting him last week, a long message that said, "I miss my friend. I hope one day you'll realize who actually had your back." He didn't reply. We're moving forward. But let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Letting someone stay in your home is not a simple favor. It's a sacred act of trust. And if the wrong person walks through that door, they don't just overstay their welcome. They plant landmines that go off long after they're gone. Update 2. If you've been following the story, you know that my husband's best friend Erica moved in with us for a 2-week stay after a breakup and ended up overstaying for 2 months. When I finally asked her to leave, she responded by poisoning our social circle and smearing me as a jealous, controlling wife. After Tyler and I set boundaries, went to therapy, and cut ties with her, things finally calmed down. Or so we thought. It's been a little over 3 months since Erica moved out. 3 months since the social fallout, the Facebook posts, the guilt trips, and the group chat backstabbing. I honestly thought we were done. I thought she was out of our lives for good. I was wrong again, because Erica came back. Only this time, she didn't come alone. She brought gifts, apologies, and a big, glossy smile. But beneath it all was something else entirely. It started with a knock on the door. It was a Saturday morning. I was in sweatpants, drinking coffee, and folding laundry. Tyler was working in the garage. I wasn't expecting anyone, and we hadn't ordered anything. I opened the door to find Erica standing there. She had a small gift bag in her hand, wearing full makeup and a friendly expression like nothing had ever happened. I stood there in stunned silence. Then, before I could even say a word, she spoke. "Hey, I know I'm probably the last person you want to see, but I needed to make things right. I should have closed the..." She handed me the gift bag. Inside was a candle, my favorite brand, a handwritten card, and a small photo book titled The Best Years, Erica and Tyler's Adventures. Yes, you read that right. A whole printed photo album of just her and my husband. I stared at it like it was a grenade. "Why would you bring me this?" I asked, holding it out like it was on fire. Erica gave me that half smile I'd seen too many times. "Because I want you to understand something. Tyler and I, we were family before you. That doesn't just go away." I handed it back to her. "We made it very clear that you're no longer part of this dynamic. What do you think this is?" Then Tyler walked in. He froze when he saw her. "What are you doing here?" "I just want to talk. That's all. I'm not here to fight." But that was a lie. Tyler didn't yell. He didn't get emotional. He just said, "This isn't the time or place," and asked her to leave. Erica, now clearly trying to perform, said, "I just want to apologize. I never meant to make things weird between you two. I didn't realize how much she'd twist things to turn you against me." I said, "Excuse me?" She looked at me. "You manipulated him. You isolated him from people who genuinely care. All because you couldn't handle him having a woman in his life who wasn't afraid of you." I actually laughed. I couldn't believe the audacity. Tyler shut it down. "You need to leave," he said firmly. "I gave you chance after chance. You're the one who crossed the line, not her." Erica's eyes welled up with tears. "I just miss my best friend." Tyler's voice was quiet. "You had a friend. Then you tried to tear my marriage apart." She left without another word. Or so we thought. A few days later, one of Tyler's old friends, Jake, texted him. They hadn't talked in a while. Jake said he'd been thinking a lot about how the whole Erica thing went down. Said he wanted to hear our side. They agreed to grab coffee. Tyler came home from that meeting looking weird. Not angry, not upset, just quiet. I asked how it went. He hesitated. Then he said, "I think she sent him." "Sent him?" "Yeah." Jake asked a lot of weirdly specific questions. About our marriage. About how I really felt during the time she was living with us. About whether I felt like I was forced to cut her off. Apparently, Jake had also mentioned things like, Erica's been working on herself lately, and she told me she'd be open to being friends again if things changed. It clicked for both of us. This wasn't an apology to her. It was a reconnaissance mission. She wanted to know if she still had leverage, if Tyler missed her, if there was any crack left in our foundation she could widen. He didn't give her anything, but rattled us both. A week later, Tyler got an email. Subject, closure. It was from Erica, over 2,000 words. She wrote about how she'd been processing everything in therapy, how she was finally seeing her patterns, and how she realized she put too much pressure on their friendship. It all sounded mature, until the last paragraph. But I also know what we had was real. And I still believe that one day, you'll look back and wonder what might have been if you hadn't let someone else rewrite our story. There it was. The fantasy. The wedge. The same old manipulation in a new wrapper. Tyler didn't respond. He blocked her email. Again, we haven't heard from her since. Erica is officially out of our lives, for real this time. We're still in therapy, and honestly, it's been the best thing we've ever done. We've grown more in the past 3 months than in 4 years of marriage. We've talked about loyalty, enmeshment, how sometimes long-term friendships can carry unhealthy dynamics that no one notices until someone from the outside comes in and says, "This isn't normal." Tyler has stepped up in ways I didn't expect. He's no longer just defending our marriage. He's protecting it. That difference means everything. We've made new friends, built new circles, and stopped relying on people who secretly wanted us to fail. Our home is quiet, peaceful, ours. I don't know what Erica will do next. Maybe she'll move on. Maybe she'll try again with someone else's life. But I do know this. We're not her story anymore. Final update. It's been a full year since Erica, the woman who used to be my husband Tyler's best friend, moved into our home for 2 weeks and overstayed her welcome by 2 months, setting off a chain reaction that nearly destroyed our marriage and left our social life in ruins. If you've read the original post and the 2 previous updates, you already know the chaos that followed. Manipulation, lies, smear campaigns, fake apologies, and desperate attempts to wedge herself between me and Tyler. After cutting ties, blocking her on all platforms, and rebuilding our lives from the rubble, I thought that would be the end of it. But last week, Tyler got a phone call that opened an entirely new chapter. And for the first time since this whole thing began, I'm realizing maybe we never really knew who Erica was at all. It started with an unknown number. Tyler was in the living room, working on his laptop, when his phone rang. He let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, he checked it and went completely still. I watched him replay the message twice before he turned to me and said, "You need to hear this." The voicemail was from Ben, Erica's ex-boyfriend, the same one she broke up with right before she came to stay with us. I didn't even know she was still in contact with him. Neither did Tyler. But apparently, Ben had been trying to reach us for a while. He only recently got Tyler's new number through a mutual connection. In the message, Ben said he had something to tell us. Something important. Something he should have said a year ago, but didn't have the courage to speak up about back then. He didn't explain further, just asked if Tyler would be willing to meet. Against my instincts, Tyler agreed. They met at a neutral place, a coffee shop near Ben's work. I didn't go, but Tyler promised to keep his cool and just listen. He came back 2 hours later, sat down across from me, and said, "You're going to want to sit down for this." Here's what Ben told him. Erica didn't actually break up with Ben when she moved in with us. She pretended to break up so she'd have an excuse to move into our house. Ben says he only realized what was happening when he went to Erica's apartment a week after the breakup and found it untouched, still fully furnished, with no signs of someone who had moved out. When he asked her about it, she told him she needed space to think and was staying with a friend temporarily. He found out she was living with Tyler through social media posts, not from Erica herself. But here's where it gets worse. According to Ben, Erica had been planning her move for months. She told him more than once that she was tired of being second in Tyler's life, and that if his wife ever got out of the picture, things would go back to the way they were. She never explicitly said she wanted to break up our marriage, but she'd often complained that Tyler used to be hers before someone else stole him. Ben said he tried to talk her out of it, told her it was obsessive and inappropriate, but she always dismissed it as just feelings I'm working through. She didn't leave Ben. She used him, just like she used us. And when she realized Tyler wasn't going to choose her over me, she tried to destroy us both. Suddenly, all the strange moments from her stay with us came flooding back with new clarity. Her lounging on my side of the bed while Tyler was at work. Not careless, calculated. Her bringing home his favorite snacks just because. A performance. The way she always inserted herself into our conversations. Made herself indispensable to him. Tried to erase me from my own home. A power play. She wasn't just overstaying. She was campaigning. She thought if she made herself indispensable enough, familiar enough, emotionally central enough, Tyler would forget the lines between friendship and something more. She underestimated both of us. After hearing all of this, I expected Tyler to be furious. But mostly he looked exhausted. He kept saying, "How did I not see it?" And I thought I knew her. And I'll be honest, Part of me was angry too. I wasn't angry that he missed the signs, because Erica was a master manipulator. I was angry that so much of our pain could have been prevented if people had just spoken up sooner. Ben said he'd stayed quiet because he didn't want to get in the middle of something. He assumed it would blow over. He didn't want to make drama. But here's the thing. Silence protects the wrong people. Always. If Ben had told us then, if he'd just sent a message or said, "Hey, something isn't adding up with Erica," we could have acted sooner. Saved ourselves months of emotional damage. But I also understand. Manipulators like Erica thrive in silence. They make everyone feel like speaking up is worse than staying quiet. After the conversation with Ben, Tyler and I talked for hours. Not just about Erica, but about trust. About the difference between history and intimacy. About how we both ignored little red flags because we didn't want to seem paranoid, controlling, or rude. But no more. We decided to view Erica not as a threat anymore, but as a lesson. About boundaries. About friendship. About knowing the difference between love and loyalty. And how loyalty without limits becomes self-destruction. As for Ben, he apologized sincerely. He said he felt used and manipulated too. Apparently, Erica ghosted him not long after she left our house. He hasn't heard from her in months and doesn't want to. I thanked him for coming clean, even if it was late. Tyler did too. We're not planning on being best friends with him, but the closure was real. A few days after all of this, I got a message from an unknown Instagram account. No profile picture, no posts, just a DM. "You'll never know how close I was." That's it. That's all it said. I didn't respond. I showed Tyler. He blocked the account immediately. Maybe it was Erica, maybe not, but I didn't care, because it doesn't matter anymore. She didn't win. She didn't destroy us. If anything, we're stronger now, not just in our marriage, but in how we protect it. We've learned to close doors that should have never been opened. And we've learned that the people who genuinely love you won't ask you to diminish your partner just to keep them around.